Welcome to Salt, Sage and Stardust, the podcast where spirit meets real life and intuition leads the way. Every episode, your hosts, Dr. Vicki Haspels and Keryn Rose, dive into the energy of what's shifting in the cosmos, in the collective and within ourselves. And I do believe we're live, Miss Vicki. Hi, honey, how are you?
Hi, Keryn. I am well, thank you. I do have a bit of a croaky voice, so bear with me. But
we will all bear with you.
Yeah, here.
Even those in spirit will bear with us. Well, today, what topic, what have we decided, or what have we been guided to talk about today? Well, it's a pretty unique topic, isn't it?
Very. It's owning your uniqueness. And as you mentioned, we're going to spell uniqueness, Y-O-U. Because it's about
it tickled my fancy.
I like that. Yeah.
It tickled my fancy.
Uniqueness. Yeah.
So, explain to the listeners how you and I ended up resonating with this particular topic today.
Okay.
How did it come about?
We were having our talking about what was our topic. As we do, we like to let it come to us because everything is guided. And I was doing my weekly forecast, and something about the forecast, I was letting that guide me. And there was something about it reminded me of the time when I was first learning about this, about like my psychic awareness was opening up, the understanding like that was starting to reach out into the cosmos, if you like, or the universe. Who I was, I felt I was greater than who I am. And of course, all of those wonderful things that happen once you start to wake up into that world, things like books and people, and this was back in the mid-90s or early 90s. It was pretty much, it wasn't much on TV and there was no internet. So it was basically your local crystal shop or those sorts of places. So it was about seeking out the information that resonated because there was so much I was consuming. And there came a time where it all started to make sense and I could feel it surging through me. And I thought, and it was started to work beautifully. It weaved its way through my life. And I could feel it and I could see it. And it was still that, even though it was always there, now I was consciously working with it, understanding it. And I was remembering that there was a point that I became a little bit arrogant with it, or I know better. And I could see other people struggling, and I thought, oh, I read this, and I'm channeling this, and I've got this message, and you should do this, and this. This is going to make life better. And I really was interfering where I really wasn't required, even though I thought I was doing the right thing. But what was happening was that I wasn't fully baked, if you like. I wasn't really fully realised within myself. And I was wanting to save the world because I still hadn't actually saved myself. And
I love that.
And part of the weekly forecast was, it dipped into a little bit of that message, was that there's an essence of, there's an arrogance that's weaving through about what we know, because there's a lot of threes in this week's forecast, those early wins that happen. And that reminded me, threes are about those early breakthroughs, early wins. And the arrogance card was breaking through, and the confidence card reversed was in there as well. And I thought, it's about being getting all goosebumps now. It's about being mindful that, yes, this stuff is amazing and great, and yes, it's working for you. If it's not for you to go out and save the world, it's about integrating it into your own life first. But
absolutely.
And since then, because of course I was reminded every once in a while, stop, this is wrong, this is arrogant, you don't know what you're talking about. Until that really hurt. Those things hurt. But instead of letting it crush me, I took that on board and I thought, am I? Thought one of the comments that struck me was, I hear you talking, but you don't really believe what you're saying. And I thought, that really struck a nerve. So it's almost like I went back to the drawing board and I thought, what do I believe? What is it, what is it that I actually believe? And I realised that I hadn't actually connected to my deep, deep core. All this stuff was making sense because it was part of that inner part of me, but I wasn't connecting it. I wasn't connected to who I am in relation to what that means. And so that was a really good backside kicking, if you like. And in the meantime, I watched other people do it to me and watched other people to do it to other people, and just very gently reminding them that stay in your lane, as you say. That you've got a wonderful saying about staying in your lane. So I'd love for you to share that analogy of staying in your lane.
It's that wonderful reminder, and whether it be stay in your own lane, which is something that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And one day, one of my members of my team up at Spirit showed me the analogy of staying in your own boat, which meant that the boats, they were like a very long, I suppose, kayak come canoe, and you're feeling the water, so you're feeling the energy of life as you're flowing with it. But there are barriers in the boat that you don't have in a lane if you're running a race. And it's very easy to wander into, shall we say, somebody else's lane, either consciously or unconsciously. But to be out of the boat, you're either going to be thrown out by a massive wave or you choose to jump out. But just know that you can't climb into anybody else's boat, and there's nobody in your boat because that's for you. But there is, and I have only learnt this as I have lived some life. There's something about my aha moments that, look, as you were talking, I had this little image of getting into the ocean. And as someone else is coming in, you're so excited, you splash them with water. You say, oh, I'm having so much fun. Here you go, share my fun. And that's not how they enter the water. They choose to enter the water gently. It's very similar. We each have our aha moments that are ours. And we get so excited with them. Oh, look what I've got, look what I've got. Yeah. And if we're not careful, it's a bit like handing somebody the middle of a book. Say, oh, this is great, here it is. And they look at it, they go, huh? It makes no sense. It's like you're talking a foreign language to them. There is magic in embodying what you've experienced. And some zodiac signs do it better than others. They just do. Mm-hmm. Sadly for me, I'm not one of them. And it's even now, it's a real conscious learning process for me to have something that is just wonderful for me. And I have this thought process, oh, I wonder if everybody else will love that. And the answer is, Keryn, it doesn't matter. Trust that when you've embodied the energy of that moment, when it's ready, it will find its way out into the world. It's not for me to force it out. Mm. It's for me to trust. And there's also learning for me to sit in the energy of what I've just experienced, to learn to embrace that, because it's part of me. It's part of my little adventure here in that moment.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Well, it kind of, I find it a big challenge.
Yeah.
When I get really excited, I am a natural sharer. And I'm starting to really understand and not take personally when people say, Keryn, I don't care. And I go, but how can you not? Keryn, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I've got to go, wow. And so many people are in that space at the moment, Vicki.
Yeah.
So many people. And you're here to do you. I'm here to do me.
Yeah.
The listeners are here to do them as an
Yeah.
individual,
Yeah.
not as the husband, the wife, the grandmother, the daughter, whatever it is. Them, the soul that they've come in to be.
Yeah. I always think about whenever I get to a point where I am challenged with something, much like something happens and I feel that expansion. And with that expansion comes release, as in you surrender, You are surrendering things, like whether they're experiences, jobs, friends, lifestyle. Whatever comes, like what comes with that is a sense of this is amazing, and the feeling is just it's really hard to put into words, and it's a natural thing to want to say, oh my God, I felt this and I did this. I would love for you to feel it and have this experience with me. And having that sense, well, this is my boat, or this is my little journey here.
Yeah.
Then I feel like sometimes I'm not doing my job, as in, again,
Yep.
not so much these days, but back in that days, like, oh my God, I have all this knowledge, I have all this feeling, I have this information. If I'm not sharing it, if I'm not helping other people with it, then I'm not doing honor. I'm not honoring what it is that I've been given. And that's that can come down to, well, I have two streams of thought with that, is that if I am, and this goes across the board, doesn't matter what it is that what I'm talking about or anyone's talking about, if somebody's really like not enthusiastic, but really sort of fanatical about what they're talking about, like really sort of
Zealous,
thank you. I have a sense that they don't really believe what they haven't integrated. The zealousness suggests to me not integrated just yet. And while they want to explain it, if they can draw more people in to agree with them, then they don't have to do the work to integrate it. And you're only doing sort of going part of the way, because it does, to integrate that feeling and those experiences requires that extra bit of acceptance. Let's call it acceptance, surrender, that extra bit of work, because it's not a sacrifice. It's coming back to who we are. And just getting back to what you mentioned, is that all of those difficult sort of challenges that come up when I'm integrating this new information or this new feeling, I always remember this is helping me be the best version of me. At the moment, I'm not the best version, and I know that there's something that is actually I want to say better, but that's not even the right word. A much more settled soul, wiser, and I want to say a better version I always call it the better version of myself.
Stay with that.
It's like there's a better me that's there, and that better me gets to live my best life. And if I'm uncomfortable, then I'm not living my best life. So integrating that information into the whole of me. And it's really hard not to share it or try and pull other people in.
Oh, look, it's like fireworks are going off within you. All of your brain is lighting up in weird and wonderful ways. Your heart's pumping out. And it's like you've unlocked this new room that's inside you. And you just want to run out on the streets and say, oh, you got to see this. You got to see this.
Yeah.
But it's that remembrance that this is for you to see, Keryn.
For me, yeah.
This is part of your sovereignty. This is this remembrance of who you are, and trust that everyone else will get to see it when this experience is ready, because it's going to become a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And it's almost like these aha moments, these moments that we connect with, they are a playground that are inviting us to learn to sit with what is happening and almost let yourself marinate in the sovereignty of who you are. And as that is happening, also invite yourself to live with this experience until it becomes a part of who you are. And it's in that embodiment of what you have experienced that the rest of the world will get to see it, feel it, touch it, taste it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very big trusting process.
Yeah.
But it's also recognizing the importance of me to me when I choose to hold this excitement and to unlearn the desire to run out to the middle of the street and say, oh, look what happened, look what happened, look what happened. And then I hear a few people in my life going, Keryn, we don't care. And I've got to go, oh, yep, this is mine. This is mine. I mean, when they say they don't care, my first reaction is still one of a little bit of a bristle. I'm not used to hearing the words. Then when I allow myself to realize they're saying, hey, honey, that's yours.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
Yeah.
So therefore, forgive me. I love you. Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a learning, it's a playground. You know, it really, really is a playground to learn to sit with it, to learn to live with it, and then it will be shared because you've embodied it.
And it does sting when somebody rejects something that you're saying that means so much to you, and because we care, it does matter when we share it with people that we love, and it does sting. And it's like, oh. And as you were talking about that, I can remember the sting, and I was thinking, I don't feel that anymore. And I now, again, a lot of this stuff is, I'm not saying that it doesn't still happen in bits and pieces, but it doesn't happen as overwhelmingly as it used to. And when I got to that point where it's like, well, hang on, I understand that this is coming to me, and I understand, like, as you mentioned, it's like, it is for me to integrate into me. If I'm saying it to other people and they're rejecting it, then it's not for them. I understand that. So if it's so great, why am I getting this information as well? So what I used to remind myself was that once I'm living this and fully integrated and connected to it, walking my talk, then if somebody sees that and says, oh, and asks me, Vicki, if they come and ask me, Vicki, you're so calm, or you're this, or you're that, I love this. And then I would say, well, would you like to understand how that is? Or they might say, how do you do that? And I'll let them know. I'll just start small with what I think it is, but we're opening up that conversation. So it's like you become that light or that energy that people are attracted to, and then you get whoever is attracted to it is ready to do the work because their energy is at that point too.
They've literally seen your light.
Light, yes, correct. Yes.
And as you were talking, I was being shown that what you and I are talking about and sharing is that when we allow ourselves to truly own what has happened and we're comfortable with we don't feel the need. There's an appreciation. We don't need this external validation anymore.
No, yeah.
It's like we're living from the inside out. Yeah. That inner authority is telling us, you're enough, this is yours. And I go, yeah, it's a bold, I call it a bold move. I'm still getting used to it. to have something wonderful happen and not share it. And it's interesting, I just heard the word, Keryn, it's not selfish. And I'm going, thank you. I'm the type of person, I won't eat the last piece of whatever that's on the plate. Somebody else can do that. And, so often in my family, there would be one piece would just get taken off the table. And I so wanted to eat it. But no, not good. It's not for me. It's that, feeling comfortable. I am enough.
Yeah.
And if I really didn't care about that last piece, if it goes in the bin, it goes in the bin.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. That makes it's reminding me of that. This keeps popping up, so I have to say it so that it's like as you're talking, I keep getting the same image. At the beginning of this year, a friend of mine who does numerology asked me to do the tarot part of it with her, and because 2025 is a number 9 year, so which is end of that cycle, beginning of the new cycle, and one of the cards was the Hermit. And whenever anyone is going through this process that we're talking about, not the initial, telling you all about it, once we are starting to, we realise and we're humbled by it and we understand that it is about us. We walk the walk of the Hermit. And the Hermit is in the world, but not of the world, until he is able to integrate that wisdom. He has gone through a process. And sometimes that aha moment, those beautiful feelings and those messages come after a really hard time, like a trauma, like a relationship breakdown, losing a job, losing health. It's in those moments and we have an understanding of something. And so we walk the walk of the Hermit. And the Hermit, to me, in my mind now, he has a bubble around him that nothing outside can come in and distract or interfere the process until it's fully integrated. And you can still hear people and talk to people and you look exactly the same. But until it's fully integrated, that like little bubble of cocoon will stay until it's no longer needed, and then you're back and you're walking in the world again, and then you feel comfortable with this shift in this
I was just about to say there's a level of comfort, and in that comfort, again, this idea of I am enough, there's a level of comfort in knowing there's nothing more that you need. You have everything. And this idea of acknowledging the sovereignty of who you are, and you're staying in your boat, you're staying in your lane, whatever analogy you wish to use, you're not going to be distracted by other people and what they're doing in their lanes. There's no comparison, there's no acknowledgement that they're moving faster than you, they're moving slower than you. Look, they've got a turn, look, they've got a rose bush on them, whatever it is. Because when your focus is there, you're not in your lane.
That's right.
Our lane, our boat, it's not a prison. It's actually a sanctuary that is there to support any type of growth that's going to be unfolding without all the noise and distraction of, let's call it's comparison. As soon as we start saying to somebody, oh, look what I've got, are we inferring that they don't?
Yeah, that's true.
Are we inferring that they need it? It's probably yes to those two and many, many more. Whereas, I'm here to be me. I'm here to do me. And is that not magical enough, Keryn? Interesting question.
I want to go back to when the Hermit on that subject. We do when it turns up in a spread, or I'm talking to people about that type of energy, they often come to me in a space of, or not even realise that they feel disconnected from their loved ones and their friends, as if those people around them, that they're not quite, that they feel that the word, like everyday conversation is meaningless, or to has not, you can't gossip with somebody because the gossip is not profound, that the words aren't profound and the life isn't profound, and you feel very alone in that space. And oftentimes it's confusing if you don't understand that you're in hermit energy at that time. It feels like you're missing something. Sometimes people think, oh, should I be separating from my partner because we're not connecting to each other? And the hermit will come in and I'll say, no, you're integrating a new wisdom. Your partner probably doesn't even know that you're feeling different within. However, it's about you feeling okay with that, because as you integrate it and that cocoon lifts, you're going to reconnect in that way that you're comfortable with again. So don't question it while you're in that space. It will feel weird. It'll feel like you're living on a different planet or in your little bowl.
I believe that in that moment, our ego is questioning what, unbeknownst to us, we believe to be a norm.
Normal, yeah.
And therefore, if something is missing, what have we done wrong? What should I have done? What could I have done? And that remembrance of trusting the heart. And, probably all of the clients I'm working with at the moment, I'm working at helping them remember who they are through their heart connection. And gosh, so many of them are Virgo suns, and they're coming with issues up in their head. They're just stuck in their head.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their head and they're struggling to connect. And I had a gorgeous gentleman I was working with yesterday, and I was guided to tell him, go and find something to spark a little joy. And if you're struggling with sparking a little joy, go and spark a little bit of gratitude. Start with gratitude, and gratitude, I believe, will open up the doors to this joy. I said, don't work at shutting down your head, work at reconnecting to the heart and trust that that balance will happen. And it is, if when we're talking about this owning the uniqueness and making sure we don't, vomit, in inverted commas, our aha moment joy over everybody, from this salt perspective, given our gorgeous podcast is salt, sage, and stardust, from that salt perspective, we're being invited to let it anchor into who we are. Allow ourselves to really root into that moment. It's happened for us with purpose. So it's not everything that happens to us is for the public consumption. It's for us and our soul. And then the sage will step in. And our body simply knows. We're inviting everybody to start to allow themselves to trust. Our physical body is a vehicle through which Mother Earth's energy flows, through which the divine energy flows, and it simply knows. It tells us through a myriad of different ways. I mean, the number of times you will share, Vicki, oh, I've got goosebumps. I'll just smile. I'll go, yeah, there you go. That's your body going, cool. Yeah. You've resonated with what's been said. And the Stardust part reminds us that we have divine wisdom in everything that happens with us and for us. The whole world that we know and the worlds we don't know, given that they're a part of the creation, it's divine wisdom. It's divine timing. Don't question it. It's all there. And what I love about our conversations is that they might seem big and out there, but we're able to bring them back to go, hey, this is us every day. This is us every day. Gosh, I can remember at primary school, I was told off by being far too, I'll use the word zealous, very black and white and very hard-nosed Christian-like. Not that I really understood what I was talking about, but I knew what was right and what was wrong. And I'd tell people, and I thought, oh, goodness me, Keryn. But I was so believing in what was right and what was wrong. It was amazing. And I shudder now, but back in my younger days, innately, I flow with my Libran sun of justice and fairness and finding something that suits everybody. And the reality is, you don't have to be a bitch in the playground. And I say, what'd you do that for? And, they'll get all hoity-toity. I go, what you doing? There's my arrow of the inquirer coming out. I go, what'd you do that for? Unnecessary. I still today do not handle very well unnecessary rudeness, unnecessary hatred, and and so often I sit on my hands because that will close my mouth. Because I talk with my hands, I think, right, and it actually does stop me talking when I sit on my hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, and then Keryn, get back in your boat.
Yeah. Actually, we were talking about this in I'm doing a coaching course. I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but learning a particular coaching style and talking about that, how we notice something is a bit different, and we would like to point it out to say, this is right or wrong, or what are you doing there? That sort of that's like a personal reaction to something that bumps up against who we are. And was mentioning when the story I could relate to this is that when my daughter was about 9 or 10 and I was picking up from school, driving home, and a particular area that we lived in, we used to joke about anyone who wore a hat in the car, you had to watch out for them. They were unpredictable, And so there was a hat driver in front of us, and I said to my daughter, oh, there's a hat driver. We've got to watch out for them. And she laughed, and I said, I don't know why hat drivers are like that, but it seems to be only people who wear hats. And she said to me, Mum, if you try and work out she said, if you try and think like a hat driver, you're going to become a hat driver. And my mind just was like, whoa. And from that point on, I reflected on that, and I use it all the time now in my own life, is that if something, and I get not always successfully, but if something bumps up against my energy aura, if I see something that makes me feel uncomfortable, I do try and remember that little thing. If I try and work out, I could confront it, all those sorts of things, and I'm still going to get blocked and whatever. But if I try and work out, the next thing I would try and do was, I wonder why they're doing that. What is that? What's the energy going on here? We start to throw those cords out of energy to try and work them out, and our thoughts become enmeshed in their thoughts. And
you're also out of your boat.
Out of my boat, exactly. I'm out of my boat, swimming across to their boat. And so I lose myself in that space, and eventually I'll have to, sometimes it takes minutes, sometimes it can take years if you become enmeshed in something that feels wrong and you're advocating for something that really is none of your business if it's not working out straight away. So in that vein, I'm going to give a practical example. I think we talked about this the other day, a practical example about how we can take care of that within, because it's an immediate response, and it's never healthy to try and shut something down, but it's also not healthy to confront somebody and say, hey, you're doing this, just stop it because I'm feeling uncomfortable. But how can we sort of, those two things don't always have to make us feel upset, and there are ways that we can alleviate maybe the stress of it or the build-up of it, instead of trying to work it out and enmesh ourselves. And this goes back to, you'll probably not understand this too, like you'll know this from your own healing practice, Keryn. One of the teachings of healing is that you never give a healing or a reading for somebody without their permission. You must gain their permission in some way. And one of my lovely teachers said to me, if there's somebody that's in distress, or if there's a question that you have about something, and instead of enmeshing yourself in their energy, you can create a connection to them through your own guides. So you can create a vortex from the crown chakra up. Just visualize it, imagine it, however it would be, up to your higher self guide. And you can send the healing or the question, or even I've used it for anger. If I'm really angry with somebody and I don't want to mesh myself in their thing, instead of pushing it down and harming myself, I'll send it up. And I'll say, hey guys, if there's something that this other person could use from this, I'll ask them to send it across to their higher self guides.
Yep.
And when that other person is ready, or if they're supposed to get something from it, that will be taken care of. But at least it's a much kinder and more aligned way with how I think and feel that works for me, that gets it out of my system. I mean, other ways you can do is you can journal, you can go for a walk, all those sorts of things. But that's just a way of, it's a lovely way of sending healing to someone that you're not in contact with, but you'd love to send some healing to. That you send it to your guide, they'll then eventually send it to their guide, that the healing can be sent at the appropriate time. And it fulfills that excitement that we feel, oh, I can actually help here. And without being sort of that stepping over or getting out of your boat and interfering in somebody else's path or karma. And, you know, if I've fulfilled my purpose, I feel, and then whatever happens after that, I'm surrendering it to the greater good. I mean, it might be none of my business and it just goes nowhere, but at least I feel like I've completed something within me and I feel better.
You've taken action.
Yeah,
it's reminding me of something that I probably could have made use of in the last couple of months, that the awareness there is always something that I can do.
Yes.
And I do find myself, so when my father was very unwell and was struggling to pass over, I felt helpless. And then I'd say, oh, there's nothing I can do. And they go, hey, well, yes, there is. There's always something you can do, Keryn. That's what you say to everybody else that you're working with. Because everybody or everything that is on this planet is connected energetically. We just are, because we're alive at the same time, whether that be me to a human being, me to an inanimate object. Even an inanimate object is made of energy. Therefore, it has a level of life force energy within it. So the awareness that, yes, I can, and my default tends to be sending love. And I will send love. So I surrounded my father with so much love. And look, even with what he said in the will and the fallout we've had from that, I don't begrudge and I am not sorry for any of the behaviour that I showed him. I feel like he's created a fair bit of karmic energy, but it's not mine. And when I start to go down the rabbit hole of, Keryn, really, I send myself love. I go, right, put yourself at the top of the list, Keryn. Remember, you are worthy of love as anybody else that is on this planet is. But indeed, without permission, and this is where, and again, in my world, everybody's higher essence, higher self, is there to protect the physical being. So when you send the energy, as you say, from my higher self, it's like we've taken it up to high management. Deal with it. Here, I'm sending you the message. Can you please send it where it needs to go? Send it to its best possible, whatever the words are. And then that person's higher self will either, accept the mail, sign for, apologies, Shane, for all the hitting I'm doing here. Sign for the message. It just, we've done our bit from that human perspective. And again, knowing there is always something we can do. Yeah. And I love that. It's a beautiful beautiful reminder.
It is.
It just is.
Well, we are showing love to ourselves by doing that, because we're not doing something that's greater than or some higher, wonderful thing. We're actually honouring the energy that's within us. And
well, as long as that's the intention.
Well, of course. Oh, but I can tell you, Keryn, I can tell you some stories, right?
I'm sure you can, honey.
And I have been in situations where I have been at my wit's end, physically at my wit's end, in incredible amounts of pain, cannot even even drum up a skerrick of love or empathy for people who are trying to undermine me people who peer-to-peer or even authority trying to undermine my position in a weakened state, and I can watch it all happening, and the anger, and I'm going to say there was hate there, but it wasn't like I would want to go out and destroy something. This was something that was primal, and it was healing, and I knew that if I pushed it down and said, oh, it's wrong to hate, or it's wrong to be angry, or to be this full of rage, I knew that if I tried to tempt, there was not even love. Couldn't even.
There was no space there at that point in time.
No space for love, and I knew that if I was really sort of sending energy out to them, saying, I'd build that connection with them, that I would then have to, and at that point I didn't care what sort of energy I was throwing at them. To be honest, I was in a really, really vulnerable space, and I thought, I don't want to connect with them because enmeshment with them. I don't want to push this down, but I have nowhere to put it. I would send all of this with love, because what would come after it would be that relief and that love, and then I could come down back from that space, because I loved myself enough to be able to express what was going on. Luckily, it only happened over a couple of months. It was not an ongoing thing. It eventually resolved itself. But it taught me that, and that's when I used that process the most. It taught me, because I had nothing left in me to even have a kind thought or empathy, because of what I was going through at the time. And it taught me that it's okay to feel those things, but I've got a place to send it. I don't have to push it down.
Absolutely. You don't have to hang on to it.
I don't have to hang on to it.
You've given it up to
somebody else with it. Exactly.
The higher management.
The higher management.
Yeah.
And so it's been I gave myself grace, and I think that's the highest form of love that I could have shared with myself. I really cared about myself enough.
Oh, look,
to put myself
absolutely.
first. Yeah.
And what you're doing in that moment is that you're both honouring the sanctity of your sovereignty and respecting the autonomy of everybody else.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's, hello, it really does come down to it being that simple. Yeah. And it comes through us owning who we are, staying in our boat, staying in our lane, and I'm going to use the word stewarding at those moments of, that really are expressions of our sovereignty.
Yeah.
And go, these are mine, trusting that everybody else will. It's thank you. I've just had a vision of a mother who is breastfeeding. She gets to enjoy the food, and then a little bit down the track, so does the child that's nursing from her. Mm. It's, it used to be a bit of a standard joke in the family. You'll get that later. It's trusting that process. Again, we do find ourselves coming back to trusting the process.
And in all of this, Keryn, I just had a real, I guess like a deeper understanding about why we started this podcast. I know that we had all this, but you know, all of these tools and all of this, I mean, all of this information that we're sharing. Once upon a time, my learning ground was the home circles, the home meditation circles and development circles that I used to go to. All of this information was shared. And if we don't share this, it may be lost. And we get a bigger reach than what we would have had in those smaller circles. It's so important to be able to talk about this and normalize this type of activity and action and energy, that because it is our normal, and you know, you're not alone now.
It certainly is now.
Yeah.
In this wonderful age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
And with Uranus in Gemini, Gemini is the third house. It's about the local community.
Yeah.
It's about your siblings. It's about your family. It's about your neighborhood. It's that next layer that is external to us as the individual. And Uranus is saying, please give thought to who you want in your world and who you don't.
Yeah.
And we're kind of being forced to, because Aquarius is a community-based sign, zodiac sign. But the community, and I know I've said it before and I will say it until I'm dead, the community is only as strong as the individuals within it. So, you know, you and I are here at this time on purpose and with purpose. And it's to share the wisdom that we have collected along the way. We are here to say, hey, everyone, you're not broken. You're exactly where you need to be. Find your voice. Gemini is all about communication. Find your voice, ask the question, trusting the answer will appear. The answer might be in a butterfly that suddenly is sitting on your mirror inside the house. I found a little lizard inside my veranda the other day, and I looked and I smiled and said, not quite sure how you got in, but you're welcome. I love finding them. It's trusting. Goodness me, we could probably do a whole episode on trusting. Everything is going to come back to trusting and knowing that you've got the answers within you.
And this owning your uniqueness is building that trust, because every step of the way that we integrate this new knowledge that we understand builds that trust within us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, my uniqueness, your uniqueness, the uniqueness of all those listening, that is the gift that we have come in to give the world. And I can't do you, my love. And you can't do me, and I don't think you'd want to. We're all here. You know, I come back to that thread in the tapestry of life. We all are a thread, and every thread is important. So own it. Just own it. Have you got your cards with you, young lady?
I do. Where did I put them?
Are you going to be able to pull a card for us? I forgot to invite you last week.
I can. Actually, my cards. Hold on there for a minute. I'll have to go.
We will hold. Yep, push a pause button, Shay. We'll be back.
There we go. The one time I didn't have them ready to go.
Right, Shane, you can pick it up now, thanks. Right, so Miss Vicki, have you got your cards there with you?
I've got my cards here with me.
Cool. Would you please pull a card? Thinking, Keryn, what are we going to be looking at? A card to help all those that are listening to the podcast, watching us on YouTube, a card that is going to help support us as individuals to own our uniqueness. Please.
I can do that. And you can use this card as a meditation too.
Absolutely.
Seven of Swords.
Oh, do share.
It's funny. Seven of Swords is not about shouting things to the rooftops. Seven of Swords is about, oftentimes, he can be the person who's very secretive, and sometimes it can be the person who's not telling the truth. Own your truth. This is the thing. The Seven of Swords is best experienced when we observe rather than open our mouth and think, what's that?
Okay.
Rather than opening up and saying, blah, 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 blah. If something is catching our attention, don't jump in and go, I know all the answers. We observe and we integrate what it is that we need, because sometimes the observing, we get what we need from it, and we'll only speak up when needed. So the Seven of Swords is a very secretive card. It's not that you're keeping secrets from us or that you're lying to us. And this is the other thing. So this is the other message, is coming through. The lying thing is coming through. The way that you feel right now, if you feel different, or this excitement's building up and something is emerging and you feel like that you're connected to that other, is that don't allow your mind to tell you that it's nothing, that it's a lie. It is absolutely not a lie. And I'm asking you to, before you dismiss it, observe your life, much like you said, Keryn. There'll be a sign, there'll be a book, there'll be something that will catch your attention, that leads you to the next step and the next step and the next step. You can't do that by yelling and shouting it out and going blah, 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 what's going on, what's going on. It is it's not a contemplation, it is an observation. But there's something about the mind wanting to shut it down. So be mindful that, I'm feeling this, well, you must be wrong, you must be wrong. And you might even hear other people saying, you're wrong, you're wrong. Go into the heart and allow yourself to feel away, observe, watch, without saying too much, no jumping in. It's probably it just encapsulates everything that we talked about today.
It's what we've had this whole conversation about the good things that can happen, and we want to go out and, we've got this wonderful wine, come and drink a glass, and we're offering it to somebody that doesn't drink wine. But that's not the point, it's just such a wonderful, come and enjoy, come and have fun. It can also be the other side of the coin, that something has happened and I'm feeling wounded, and I've got to go out and share it with somebody right here, right now.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I would suggest stop, sit in, because this is where observation can be so powerful. You've had a response to something that has happened. Sit, even for a moment, to go, hey, whoa, this is how I'm feeling. Am I sick? Is there another way for me to see it? That the idea of observing ourselves through our emotions, is huge. And we can probably look at having a conversation on that one day, because you and I have certainly lived enough of it.
Yeah.
But yes, for those that are listening, I really hope you've enjoyed the guidance that and the sharing that Vicki and I have done today. There's absolute magic staying in the space that is yours.
Yeah.
And trust that those that need to see you, when they're ready, they will. They simply will.
100%.
Miss Vicki, thank you very much for sharing this space with me today.
It's been great conversation. Yeah.
And your voice has handled it beautifully.
It has.
If I do say so myself. It's handled it well. And for everybody that's been listening and watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. Please remember to click the subscribe and follow. Send us all your questions. I'm waiting for a question to come through that we can then tackle.
Yeah. anything you want to know, anything that's come up from today's episode.
Absolutely.
Share the story.
All right, young lady. Until next episode.
Thanks, Keryn.
Bye for now.
Bye.